When you feel like the weight of life has pressed so heavily against your chest that you can barely breathe, when your spirit trembles under pressures no one else can see, when you sit alone in the quiet of your room, wondering how much longer you can keep standing, hear this truth with unshakable conviction. God knows it is hard, and God is about to send help that will break through your darkness like the rising of a new dawn. You are not invisible to the heavens. You are not forgotten in your struggle. The very moments that feel impossible for you are the moments God uses to reveal divine strength, divine timing, and divine rescue. God has been watching every tear, every sigh, every silent prayer you whispered into the night, and God is preparing help in ways you cannot imagine. There are nights when you stare at the ceiling, exhausted from battles no one else even knows you are fighting. You have been strong for too long. You have carried too much. You have endured the seasons that should have broken you completely. Yet here you are still breathing, still hoping, still fighting. And if you wonder why you have survived the storms that others could not, it is because God has held your spirit in the palm of His hand. God has seen your struggle. And God has decided that your suffering will not end in defeat, but in breakthrough. You may not see the end yet, but God has already determined it. God knows the battles that happen inside your mind, the heaviness in your heart, the pressure that sits on your shoulders. God sees the pain that hides behind your smile. God knows when your strength is genuine and when it is held together by threads. God knows when you are pretending to be okay but feel like collapsing inside. And because God knows, God is about to intervene. The help that is coming is not ordinary, not temporary, not shallow. God is sending a help that transforms, restores, uplifts, and strengthens in ways you have never experienced before. Sometimes life becomes the heaviest right before God shifts your entire direction. The path feels narrow, the nights feel long, and the struggle intensifies, not because God has left you, but because God is preparing you. When the pressure increases, it is often a sign that something powerful is forming. When the burden feels too heavy to carry, it is a sign that God is about to lift it. When your strength feels depleted, it is a sign that divine strength is about to take over. God does not abandon you in the middle of hardship. God walks with you through every valley. And when you reach the point of exhaustion, God becomes your strength. You may feel like your life has been frozen in a long season of waiting for answers, waiting for change, waiting for something to break open. But waiting is never wasted when God is involved. God uses waiting to build clarity, discipline, resilience, and faith. God uses waiting to prepare you for what you cannot receive prematurely. God uses waiting to protect you from stepping into something that is not ready. You are not being delayed. You are being developed. You are not stuck. You are being shaped. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. And when God finishes the preparation, the help you have prayed for will arrive with a force that overturns every obstacle in your path. Do not mistake silence for absence. God has been silently arranging everything behind the scenes. God has aligned people who will enter your life at exactly the right moment. God has positioned opportunities that will appear suddenly. God has prepared open doors that no one can shut. The very things that seemed impossible will become effortless when God releases the help destined for you. What you try to fix on your own will be resolved without your efforts. What you thought would require years will shift in moments. What you thought was over will be reborn with new power. God has been working while you were worrying. You may wonder why the struggle has lasted so long. You may wonder why the breakthrough has taken time. You may wonder why God allows certain hardships to touch your life. But understand this deeply. The difficulty was not designed to destroy you. It was designed to strengthen you. You cannot carry the blessings God wants to place in your hands without the endurance that comes from struggle. You cannot handle the next level of your purpose without the discipline forged through hardship. You cannot become who you are meant to be without the refining that comes from trials. Pain has been preparing you for power. Disappointment has been preparing you for clarity. Loneliness has been preparing you for divine connection. Loss has been preparing you for divine restoration. And now the season is shifting. The hardship has reached its fullness. The storm has reached its limit. The tears have watered the soil long enough. God has said enough. And when God declares enough, the battle ends. When God declares enough, the weight lifts. When God declares enough, the breakthrough begins. You are approaching a divine turning point where everything changes: your strength, your clarity, your opportunities, your relationships, your path, your confidence, your entire future. You must understand, God sends help in many forms. Sometimes help comes as a person who enters your life unexpectedly, someone who understands what you need without explanation. Sometimes help comes as a door that opens suddenly, one you did not even know existed. Sometimes help comes through a shift in your mind, a new strength you did not realize you carried. Sometimes help comes by removing what has been draining you. Sometimes help comes wrapped in loss because God is clearing space for something greater. Help does not always look like you expect, but when God sends it, you will recognize it by the peace that follows. God is about to send help that will lift the weight you have been carrying alone. God is about to send help that will strengthen what has been weak for too long. God is about to send the help that will reveal opportunities you never saw before. God is about to send help that will bring people into your life who honor your spirit and support your journey. God is about to send help that will break generational patterns and open generational blessings. God is about to send help that will confirm your purpose and illuminate your path. You have cried long enough. You have suffered long enough. You have waited long enough. God has seen every moment, and the divine response is already on its way. You might feel unworthy. You might feel tired. You might feel unsure. But God does not send help because you are strong. God sends help because you are loved. God does not intervene because you are perfect. God intervenes because you are precious. God does not support you because you have figured everything out. God supports you because your heart has remained sincere even through struggle. You have kept going even when quitting would have been easier. You have remained faithful even when your faith felt fragile. You have kept believing even when your hope was under attack. God has seen your endurance, and God is about to reward it. Even in moments of weakness, especially in moments of weakness, God steps in with divine strength. The help that is coming will not feel like a human assistance. It will feel like something greater, something deeper, something that touches your spirit. The shift that is coming is not a coincidence. It is a divine arrangement. The blessing that is approaching you is not luck, it is alignment. The opportunity that will arise is not random, it is orchestrated. God has walked with you through the hardest chapters so you can step into the most victorious ones. And when the help arrives, everything that once felt heavy will feel light. Everything that once felt confusing will become clear. Everything that once felt impossible will become achievable. You will understand why God allowed certain things to happen and prevented others from happening. You will see how every delay protected you. You will realize that what you thought was breaking you was preparing you. You will recognize that the pain was shaping you into someone capable of holding the blessings that are coming. God knows it is hard. God knows you are tired. God knows you have carried enough. But God is about to send help that will lift, help that will strengthen, help that will open doors, help that will bring peace, help that will transform your life from the inside out. Stand firm. Hold your ground. You're closer than you think. Your breakthrough is already on its way. When the human heart reaches the point where it whispers, I don't know how much longer I can endure this, that is often the moment when the realm you cannot see begins to shift. You have been standing in a place where your strength feels thin, your courage feels worn, and your hope feels stretched. But you must understand something sacred. God does some of the greatest work in your life at the exact moment you feel you have nothing left to give. When your human endurance ends, God's divine intervention begins. When your mind is overwhelmed, God releases clarity. When your spirit is weary, God pours strength that rises from a place deeper than your own understanding. And right now, God is preparing a help so profound, so precisely designed for your struggle that it will not simply lift you, it will transform you. Some seasons are allowed not to weaken you, but to sharpen you. People often assume that hardship is a sign of abandonment, when in truth, it is often the proof of divine attention. God invests the most into those He is preparing for something greater. You cannot rise without resistance. You cannot grow without stretching. You cannot ascend without being lifted out of places you have outgrown. The discomfort you are feeling is not a random inconvenience. It is a divine signal that a new chapter is being formed in the unseen. God is rearranging the circumstances of your life, one detail at a time, to position you for a level of strength, wisdom, and direction you have never walked in before. You have been pushed, squeezed, and pressed because God is making room in your life for something bigger, something holier, something more aligned with who you were meant to become. You may have been asking for relief, but God has been preparing release from burdens, release from old cycles, release from what has been draining your spirit. You may have been praying for answers, but God has been crafting elevation. You wanted survival. God is preparing victory. And the help that is coming will not merely meet your need, it will exceed it. God does not send small support to those who have endured great suffering. Many people do not realize that the help God sends often begins internally before it manifests externally. It may begin as a shift in your mind, a sudden new strength, a clarity that emerges in the middle of confusion. It may begin as a release of old emotional weights. It may begin as a courage you did not expect. God often strengthens the inner world before transforming the outer world. You may not see the changes around you yet, but if something in you is beginning to awaken, beginning to rise, beginning to hope again, that is already the first sign that God's help has entered your life. There will be moments when God removes people opportunities, or familiar patterns, not to punish you, but to protect you. Sometimes help arrives wrapped in loss. Sometimes the removal is the rescue. Sometimes the absence is the protection. Sometimes God closes a door because what waits behind it is too small for the destiny He is preparing. Sometimes rejection is the redirection that saves your life. Trust this, when God allows something to leave, it is because something greater is being prepared to enter. You may think you have been forgotten because the answers have not arrived yet. But God is never late. Human clocks measure minutes, divine timing measures destiny. What you call delay, God calls development. What you call waiting, God calls preparation. And what you call silence, God calls strategy. God has not been ignoring you. God has been arranging everything around you so that when the moment comes, every step is aligned, every door is prepared, every opportunity is positioned, and every blessing is secured. There is a kind of help that only God can send, help that does not come from human advice, human intervention, or human strength. It is the help that arrives when human ability reaches its limit. It is the help that comes with clarity, peace, and direction that no one else could have given. It is the help that sets your spirit back into place when life has pushed it out of alignment. This help carries a power that comes from beyond the seen world, a guidance that cannot be explained by logic, and a confidence that touches your soul like fire touches kindling. And this help is coming to you swiftly, powerfully, unmistakably. There comes a moment in every person's life where God decides, now, not yesterday, not later, but now. And when God says now, nothing can stop the breakthroughs that unfold. Obstacles fall, blockages dissolve, fear loses its grip, doors open without warning. People who once resisted you begin to support you. The past that seemed invisible becomes illuminated. You are entering a divine now moment. You may not feel it yet, but the shift is already in motion. Your spirit can sense things before your mind understands them. You may feel a restlessness you cannot explain, a tension that does not make sense, an anticipation that rises from within. That is spiritual sensitivity awakening. That is your soul detecting the movement of God. Something deep inside you already knows that your story will not end in pain, that your future is bigger than your present battle, that your destiny is stronger than your current exhaustion. That inner knowing is not your imagination. It is a signal that God is near, God is working, God is preparing. Do not underestimate the power of the moments when you felt close to breaking. Those were the moments where God strengthened you the most. Every time you wanted to walk away but stayed, you grew. Every time you wanted to give up but kept fighting, you expanded. Every time you felt hopeless but still whispered a prayer, you deepened spiritually, and God saw all of it. God saw your hidden strength. God saw your quiet endurance. God saw your courage to rise each morning despite the heaviness. And because God saw, God is responding. Help from God is always precise. It arrives according to need, but also according to destiny. God will not send assistance that merely comforts you in the moment. God sends the support that moves you into the future, the help coming your way. Will not only lift your burden, it will point your life in a direction that aligns with a greater purpose. God will send the right words, the right people, the right timing, the right clarity, the right opportunities, and sometimes the right endings. Everything God sends carries meaning. Some help will feel like a healing. Some help will feel like empowerment. Some help will feel like sudden realization. Some help will feel like divine redirection. But all of it will carry the signature of God, peace, clarity, and the sense of rightness that settles deep into your soul. You will know when it arrives because everything inside you will exhale, your spirit will straighten, your mind will settle, your emotions will breathe. God's help brings alignment. Do not lose your strength in the final stretch of this journey. People give up not because they are weak, but because they do not recognize how close help truly is. The darkest part of the night is moments before dawn. The heaviest pressure in life often comes moments before breakthrough. Your spirit has been stretched not because you are failing, but because you are growing. Growth always demands discomfort. Transformation always requires pressure, and elevation always requires surrender to a higher plan. God is not taking you backwards. God is lifting you upward. Soon you will stand in a place where everything makes sense. Soon you will look back and realize that the very path you questioned was the path that saved you. Soon you will see how God's protection was woven into every closed door, every delayed blessing, every unexpected change. Soon you will understand that God was not denying you, God was delivering you. God was not ignoring your pain, God was strengthening your character. God was not withholding help, God was preparing the help to arrive at the exact moment it would create the greatest transformation. There comes a point in every spiritual journey when the struggle becomes so intense that it almost feels like the air around you becomes heavier, the days longer, and the nights quieter. You start to wonder whether your prayers are still reaching beyond the ceiling, whether your cries are still heard, whether your exhaustion still matters. But understand this with the depth that anchors your soul. When your strength reaches its limit, God's intervention reaches its beginning. The pressure you feel is not the sign of abandonment. It is the sign that God is drawing near with a purpose that outweighs every burden you have carried. You are not on the edge of a collapse. You are on the edge of divine assistance. There are moments when God allows you to walk through valleys not to weaken you, but to reveal what has always been inside you. You discover courage you didn't know you had. You uncover wisdom that was molded through hardship. You awaken to a depth of faith that only adversity can summon. God does not expose you to these seasons for destruction. God exposes you to them for revelation. You learn who you are in the fire. You learn who God is in the silence. And when you rise from it, you rise with a force that cannot be shaken by the winds of life. Many times the help you are waiting for requires transformation before manifestation. God shapes your inner world before shaping your outer circumstances. You cannot receive divine elevation with a mindset still tied to old fears. You cannot walk through open doors with the same limitations that closed the last ones. So God works in the unseen places, your thoughts, your perspectives, your spirit, your wounds. God begins by cleansing the internal atmosphere so that when help arrives, you can stand in it with clarity, strength, and purpose. The assistance God sends is too great to be placed into a troubled mind or a weary heart without preparation. So the struggle you feel is not punishment, it is refinement. You must also understand that the help God sends is not random nor accidental. It is assigned, it is ordained, it is destined. God does not send anything prematurely. Just as a seed remains under the soil until the ground is ready to release it, your season of help remains concealed until the timing secures your success. If help came earlier, you might not have recognized it. If help came earlier, you might have mishandled it. If help came earlier, you might have settled for less than what God intended. But now, after all you've endured, after all you've learned, after all you've survived, you are ready. Ready to receive, ready to rise, ready to move. That is a spiritual law that governs your journey. When you remain faithful in the dark, God reveals greatness in the light. Every time you continued with the tears in your eyes, every time you remained steadfast with questions in your heart, every time you fought battles silently while appearing calm to others, God counted it. God recorded it. God honored it. Nothing you suffered has been ignored. Nothing you lost has been dismissed. Nothing you prayed has been forgotten. The unseen realm remembers your endurance, and God responds to perseverance with elevation. Sometimes God sends help through new strength you didn't pray for, but suddenly you have it. You wake up one morning and the heaviness feels lighter. You walk into the day and feel a boldness that contradicts your circumstances. That is God strengthening your spirit before shifting your story. Sometimes the miracle is not the door that opens, but the weight that lifts. Sometimes the breakthrough is not external change, but internal stability. Do not underestimate the divine power of a renewed mind or a restored heart. God often helps you first by healing the wounds that were invisible to everyone, but deeply felt by you. Other times, God sends help through people who appear out of nowhere, guided by compassion. They don't even understand. People who speak life into your spirit, who stand with you in moments when others walked away, who see your worth when you feel diminished. These people are not coincidences. They are instruments of God. You are never meant to journey alone. And God chooses the right voices at the right moment to strengthen what has grown weak. When someone enters your life with peace, clarity, or support that feels supernatural, recognize it as a divine appointment. And then there are times when help comes through change, unexpected change that shifts your path entirely. You may not understand it at first. You may feel unsettled, confused, or even afraid. But change is often the language God uses when words are not enough. When God moves you out of a place, it is because that place can no longer hold your purpose. When God ends a season, it is because that season has completed its work in your life. When God closes a door, it is because the next one requires more power, more vision, and more maturity than the last. Change is not disruption, it is divine redirection. You may think God is silent, but silence is not absence. Silence is strategy. Silence is alignment. Silence is preparation. God often works in stillness because stillness prevents interference. God hides His greatest works beneath layers of quiet so that when they emerge, no one else can take credit for what was divinely orchestrated. When you sense nothing happening, that is often when everything is happening the most. Trust that silence carries movement. The truth is this: help is already on the way, and nothing can stop what God has ordained. Not fear, not doubt, not opposition, not delay, not the past, not the present, not the storms that threaten to drown you. God has marked you for deliverance, and what God marks cannot be canceled by anything in creation. You are standing in the final moments before divine assistance breaks into your life. The pressure you feel is the sign of a proximity. The tension you feel is the sign of a transition. The inner stirring you feel is the sign that God's help is already moving toward you. Soon, you will witness what happens when God steps into a situation fully. The weight will break, the confusion will clear, the path will open, the opportunities will align, the answers will come without strain, the blessings will appear without struggle. You will not need to force anything, chase anything, or beg for anything. When God sends help, it flows, it aligns, it unfolds. And when this help arrives, your spirit will recognize it instantly. There will be a peace that settles deeply, a clarity that sharpens your vision, a courage that awakens your purpose. You will rise differently. You will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will think differently. God's help doesn't just change situations, it changes people. And that is what is happening to you now. You are being transformed in preparation for divine elevation. Listen closely, for this is the moment your spirit needs to hear with the unwavering clarity. God knows the depth of your struggle, the weight of your trials, and the exhaustion of your soul. And God is preparing help that is beyond anything you could imagine. You may feel surrounded by obstacles, by people who misunderstand you, by circumstances that refuse to bend, but every single one of these is temporary. God sees them all. God measures them all. And God will intervene in ways so precise, so powerful, that the breakthrough will feel like destiny itself has arrived at your door. There is a season when everything seems to press against you, pressure on your mind, pressure on your body, pressure on your spirit. That pressure, though uncomfortable, is not a signal of abandonment. It is a signal of preparation. God used the weight of difficulty to awaken something within you that only emerges through endurance. Strength you didn't know existed. Faith you thought was fading. Courage you thought had left you. The heaviness you feel is the sign that your spirit is being ready to receive divine assistance, help that will restore, elevate, and transform your life in ways that human hands could never achieve. Understand this. God's help often arrives in the form of timing that the human eye cannot see. It may seem like nothing is happening. It may seem like prayers go unanswered. It may seem like the world is moving forward while you remain trapped. But God is orchestrating, arranging, and aligning every piece in secret. People may appear to fail you. Doors may close. Seasons may feel long. But God has a plan so meticulous that the slightest movement of your life is guided, protected, and positioned for maximum impact. What appears as delay is actually divine strategy. What feels like a silence is actually spiritual preparation. What seems like waiting is actually the molding of your destiny. Do not despise the difficult days. Do not resent the lonely nights. Do not fear the storms that rage around you. Each of these has been designed to make you ready for the help that God is sending. Every tear, every trial, every moment of uncertainty has been recorded by God. Every single instance of endurance has been honored by God. And the help coming to you is not random, it is intentional, it is measured, it is perfectly suited for the challenges you face and the destiny you are meant to walk into. God often sends help in ways that shift not only circumstances but your very perception. You will begin to see things that you could not see before. You will begin to hear guidance that you could not hear before. You will begin to understand truths that were hidden in your pain. The divine assistance that is arriving is as much about awakening your spirit as it is about changing your environment. God strengthens you from the inside out so that when the external breakthrough occurs, you are ready to receive it fully, without fear, without hesitation, and without compromise. You will stand stronger, wiser, and more confident than you ever imagined. Sometimes God's help comes through people who step into your life at exactly the right moment, whose presence brings clarity, peace, or opportunity. Sometimes help comes through circumstances that align in impossible ways. Sometimes it comes as insight, as a sudden wisdom, as a revelation that changes your direction entirely. But in every case, the signature is unmistakable. Peace in your heart, certainty in your mind, and a sense of divine alignment that cannot be mistaken. God's help always bears the mark of divinity. It restores, it strengthens, it elevates, and it leads you into your destiny. Do not lose faith when things appear stagnant. Do not despair when progress seems slow. Do not let the weight of the current moment blind you to the movement of God behind the scenes. God works in ways that human eyes cannot perceive. God moves in the quiet, in the stillness, and sometimes in ways that defy logic. You cannot see the forces aligning, the doors being prepared, the obstacles being removed, but rest assured, it is happening. The unseen hand of God is orchestrating your breakthrough even now. Your moment of release, of restoration, of elevation is closer than you realize. Remember this, help from God is never partial. It is always complete. It does not merely remove a problem temporarily. It does not just give relief for a moment. God's help transforms the situation, restores what was lost, and empowers you to walk in victory. God's assistance reshapes your path so that the blessings that follow are enduring. When God sends help, everything aligns in perfect harmony. The timing, the people, the opportunities, the resources all converge in a way that cannot be explained by human effort. God is not only rescuing you, God is propelling you forward into a season that exceeds every expectation. You may feel exhausted. You may feel overwhelmed. You may feel unworthy. But hear this truth. You are exactly where God wants you to be in order to receive what God has prepared. The struggles you have endured have not been wasted. The pain you have felt has not been ignored. The endurance you have shown has not been overlooked. God is about to turn every tear into testimony, every setback into setup, every delay into demonstration of power. What has been hidden will be revealed. What has been delayed will be delivered. What has been heavy will be lifted. And you will walk forward in a strength, clarity, and favor that can only come from God. Even if the world around you is shaking, even if people have failed, even if opportunities have seemed impossible, know this, God is faithful to respond to your perseverance. When you have kept your spirit upright, when you have refused to yield to despair, when you have trusted, even when the circumstances made no sense, God takes notice. And the help that comes will not merely fix what is broken, it will elevate you above every challenge, above every doubt, above every opposition. You will see clearly that God's timing was perfect, that God's intervention was exact, and that God's wisdom far surpasses human understanding. Do not rush the process. Do not doubt the promise. Do not underestimate the preparation. The help that is approaching is too great to arrive prematurely. God will not release it until you are ready to receive it fully, until the circumstances align perfectly, and until the blessings can be held without compromise. Every moment of struggle, every period of endurance, every test of faith has been necessary. And now, the moment of a breakthrough is near. Stand strong, keep believing, hold your ground. God knows it is hard, and God is about to send help that will make your victory undeniable. Soon, the doors that were closed will open. Soon, the burdens that weighed you down will lift. Soon, the clarity you have longed for will arrive. Soon, the peace you have sought will settle over your heart. Soon, the strength you thought was gone will rise within you. The help God is sending is not ordinary. It is divine, perfect, and life-changing. The trials will be replaced by triumph. The despair will be replaced by hope. The uncertainty will be replaced by clarity. And you will walk forward into a new season, knowing with absolute certainty that the hand of God has moved on your behalf. Every step you take from this moment forward will be guided. Every decision will be illuminated. Every challenge will be met with wisdom and strength beyond your natural ability. God's help is coming, and it will not simply carry you through. It will lift you above, beyond, and into the fullness of what has been prepared for you. Trust in it. Expect it. Stand firm in it. God has seen your struggle. God knows it is hard, and God is about to send help that will change everything. Your victory is already being arranged. Your breakthrough is already on its way. Your season of a divine favor is already arriving. Believe it, receive it, and prepare to walk in the fullness of the help God has promised.